Hello! Now, good morning everyone. I've been accusing myself of being a little too drab in these readings, so I'm going to change it up. The Dinosaur Who Pooped a Planet by them from McFly, Tom Fletcher Dougie Poynter. That blew my mind when I knew that was from McFly, Tom Fletcher and Dougie Poynter, and I'm going to freestyle. I've been using my loop station and I've got some sound effects. I'm hoping you can hear this. Ready? I think that might be a little too loud, so let's turn that down. Let's try it again. Oh! So, strap in everyone. Ready for the dinosaur who pooped a planet. And this is as funny as you think it might be. Okay, here we go. Let's get some music going. The Dinosaur Who Pooped a Planet by Tom Fletcher and Dougie Poynter. Danny and Dinosaur liked to have fun. Some day they had lots, some day they had none. One day they were bored, they had no games to play, and Danny said, "Dinosaur, what shall we do today? We could mow the lawn, we could tidy the place, we could do our chores, or we could go into space." "But you mustn't forget to have lunch," said their mummy. "You cannot have fun without food for your tummy." So they packed a packed lunch for the Science Museum, where rockets were kept if you wanted to see them. Damn! There were hundreds of rockets and spaceship surprises, tall ones and small ones of all shapes and sizes. And one that was ready to launch with a door, big enough for his boy and a pet dinosaur. They ignored all the warnings. They couldn't care less. They pressed all the things that they shouldn't have pressed. T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. They started their intergalactic space mission. They flew higher than houses, and buildings and cranes, higher than birds, even higher than planes. "We're in space," Danny yelled as they floated around, but the dinosaur's tongue made a rumbling sound. "It's time to have lunch." Danny looked at his watch, and he looked all around for the dino's lunchbox. Danny started to worry, then he started to panic. They'd left their packed lunch back home on their planet. With no food on board, not the smallest of crumbs, a disastrous dinosaur feast had begun. It gobbled up gadgets and gizmos galore. Nothing was safe from the space dinosaur. Robots and ray guns and blinking red blinkers, eating things thought up by NASA's great thinkers. The hyperdrive gamma reactor machine was swallowed along with the space tractor beam. It chewed and it chomped on the spaceship controls. The rocket was dotted with dino tooth holes. Inside it was bare, the spaceship was empty. Outside there were more things to eat. There was plenty. Uh-oh! It broke down the door with a cool ninja chop. Out in space, dinosaurs are much harder to stop. It chomped on the moon like a big chunk of cheese. It shoved even more in its mouth with a squeeze. It munched on the Martians and Mars and their cats. Their cats are like ours, but their cats wear cool hats. Satellites, Saturn, and 6 supernovas, shape-shifting saucers, and 7 space rovers. It guzzled 5 gallons of fuel from the tank, and Danny's jaw dropped as he watched what it drank. With a crunch and a crack and a nom 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 nom, in one dino gulp, their rocket was gone. There was nothing left, as Danny could see, was a fat dinosaur where the rocket should be. And so, they were stranded with no way back home, just Danny and Dinosaur in space, all alone. Now Danny was crying, And he cried and he cried. And he cried and his tears filled his spacesuit inside. Unless they were going to stay there forever, the dinosaur needed to do something clever. With a feeling of guilt deep down in his gut, its brain brewed a plan involving its butt. It knew there was only one thing it could do. To get them back home, it needed to poo. Like a poop-powered rocket, the spaceship flew. Dan hopped on its back and he watched as it pooed. It pooped out the robots and ray guns and blinkers. The things that NASA's thinkers nor thought up were now stinkers. It pooped out the moon and it pooped out the stars. It pooped the space rovers and Martians from Mars. Now Danny looked back in the clouds and to see a poop trail from far out in space to the dinosaur's tail. They headed for Earth and they started to orbit. It pooped on the clouds, but the clouds just absorbed it. They flew past the buildings and streets of their town, leaving all the houses all smelly and brown. And finally, they landed down on the ground. Hooray, Danny cried. We are home, safe and sound. They looked to the sky, and the things that were pooped had formed a poop planet right next to the moon. And so Danny promised to listen to Mummy, because fun is not fun without food for your tummy. And just when you thought all the pooping was done, a Mars cat plopped out of the dinosaur's bum. There we go. The Dinosaur Who Pooped a Planet. Hope you enjoyed that one. See you for some more reading tomorrow.